So there was a dragon. He was perched on a table. A young fellow, not too old. He just adored his mother. He was just a young thing, a couple years old, maybe two. Dragons, of course, live a couple hundred years to the size they have to grow. This guy was just a little fellow. He was not knowing much about the world, maybe his wings were developing, and you could say he was experiencing what life was like. It's just a little young thing. His mind wasn't even beginning to develop yet. This guy was just learning to stretch his wings for the first time. Sore wings they were, as he had never stretched them. But as they began to come out of the wing cocoon, you see, they just started to slowly get used to moving, right? This young guy, he perched his head up one day and he thought to himself and wondered what the next steps were. So he looked around, as you could say, to see exactly what was the thing to do. Curious little guy. He explored. He could see humans or mythical creatures to him as we were, because he had only known his mother and maybe some birds they'd killed for food. As this guy grew older, he took off and began to fly, right? But it wasn't easy at first because he was just experiencing life for the first time, and he was just getting used to the experience of expanding his wings fully, as it was so sore to do so in the beginning. So as he began to develop, he started to get a feel for where to lay his head at. He got an idea for what was more comfortable when he wanted to be around, and as he got older, he kind of figured he had to venture out on his own and separate from his mother and go find his mate. So he was now well into his adolescence, just flying everywhere, getting used to the feel of it all, soaring as he would the night or the day sky. But his his inhabitants was far from that of humans, so he'd rarely ever seen one around. He'd quite frankly run because they'd have often things in their hands like spears and making fire and stuff. And as this guy would get older, he'd start to realize that his breath could get real hot if he wanted it to. He'd just compact the pressure in his chest, and he'd blow out, and it'd come out real hot and blow stuff. And as he got more used to hunting and figuring out what he'd do and which were his favorite foods to eat, This guy wasn't a plant eater. He was carnivorous and freaking hungry for prey, right? Because this guy was always meant to be a powerful beast, because that's the kind of creatures these guys are, right? So one day he catches a glimpse. Other dragons, right? He sees them flying in the distance. He doesn't know what he's looking at first. And he looks at his own flesh and realizes that they look like him. Huh? Right? Now these other dragons, they were a little bit older and more experienced, and they knew a little bit more than him, so they started to get a little sense. They got a feeling in the air. I feel someone's encroaching on my territory, one of them said. Let's go take a look. Landed right in front of the little guy. Right? Halt! What are you doing there? Well, I was just exploring and I noticed you guys there. This is our land. What are you doing close to us? I got the urge to explore. Don't be mad at me. What's going on? You must leave now. Leave why? A big old fire spit from his mouth as he warned him in anger and a voracious tone. He was dead serious. The heat damn near burnt his toes. It was hard enough to make him fly. I wonder what was going on, right? So, a few days pass by. He sees a lady dragon. His interest peaks. He's like, I'm gonna talk to this one. Let's go! Wow! Up in front of him stands this massive guy. Oh, who goes there and who are you? Huh? Leave! Wow! Again, the little dragon doesn't know what's going on. The little guy had never had a father. Poor little guy. Over and over, this kept happening to him. He did not know what was going on. You know what? But unfortunately, I don't either, because it's the Dragon Kingdom, and here I am, a human, so take that for yourself.